Advisor is a strong data discovery and analysis solution that makes it very easy to share results with other users. There are 4 ways to share results. First, you could easily copy a chart or Advisor dashboard page out into Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, or PDF or HTML format. Second, you can export results data out of any of the tables in our in-memory pool back to the client, typically into Excel or to a back-end system, often an Oracle or SQL Server database. 3, Advisor can save your work as a project file, much like Excel saves a spreadsheet. We save a project file that can then be shared and run by other Advisor users. 4th, we have a feature called the Flight Recorder, which tracks every step of your discovery and analysis path. The flight record can be replayed in the current session or shared with other users in later sessions. Let's take a look. Here we have a fairly simple 4-page project or dashboard, which is focused on a portfolio of proposals in play by a major university fundraising staff. In fact, the raw details on the first page is a list of all the prospects with proposals. There's several thousand, I think there's 8,000 of them in here. They're ranked by a dollar amount on down, and some of the typical stats. So this would be one of the core tables, roughly 8,600 proposals with amounts and stats for each one of them. For this analysis purpose, management wants to know how are these proposals progressing and are there any problems. So this page, the one we started on, is proposal timing, and it takes the proposals and uses what we call a bubble chart to show the whole portfolio laid out horizontally from age, from brand new to 42 months old, and then vertically by stage, ask analysis, ask made, closed meeting, verbal commit, pledge prep. You'd expect to see these proposals move from the lower left to the top right. And by the way, each circle is a proposal. I put the mouse over it. I'll see the name, the dollar value, some stats about it. The bigger ones are larger proposals. The smaller ones are smaller proposals. The coloring is by the rating of the customer or prospect getting the proposal. The hotter colors are the higher rated customers or prospects. The cooler colors are the lower rated. And there's some stats over here. I'm dealing with 23 staff with 8,600 prospects, 1,200 proposals, and a total pool of $440 million of proposals. Here's the staff and how many each of them have, and here's a list of the proposals. So going to management, we want to share this page as the first page of a PowerPoint. So I go to the task view, load data, design, share results, export the current page. I click it. Let's go to PowerPoint. I don't want to include the color and selection legend. I click OK, put it somewhere, and it's now going to take this page and format it into a PowerPoint document, which I can then edit. The labels and the charts will all be separate objects. And I've got the start of my management presentation. Let's, for example, add to this for review and move this down a little bit, just setting up a little bit for my meeting in a little bit. So now I have the first page. I'm going to add a couple new slides for the second page and the third page. So step 1 of sharing is you can share an entire project page from Advisor quickly into PowerPoint. So now I want to do some analysis. I look at this, and one thing that stands out is in stage 1, I've got an awful lot of proposals out in here. 4 months, 8 months, 12 months, 16 months old, and they're big circles, so they're large proposals. They're actually larger than the ones up in here. And there's some hotter colors, so I've got some of my higher rated prospects. So let's take a look at this. Visual discovery, sweep over with the mouse. I've selected in it. I've grabbed 20 staff, 267 prospects, comprising 268 proposals, and let's zoom this in a little bit to get a little narrower perspective. 243 prospects, 244, these are the ones 6 months and out. $156 million of value in this. So the counts change, the list change. I now want to, step 2, I just want to take this one chart and put it in my PowerPoint. So I click on it, I copy it to the clipboard, I go back to my PowerPoint, page 2, drop the chart in. So now I have the start of the storyline. I have my overall portfolio. I selected the delayed stage 1 proposals, which I now want to drill in on. Let's minimize this instead of get rid of it. So now let's exclude everything else and drill in. Exclude the unselected. I've dropped down to just the stage 1 delayed proposals. Here's the staff that has them. But Geraldine Camp has 49 of them. You can see the bar chart jumps the ones that have the biggest problem. I could select several of them, or I could just click on, say, Amanda Carrington. Let's click on her and drill in. But she's got 27 prospects with 28 proposals that are in this situation. Here's the list of them. They run from $6 million On the bottom of this list, there's actually this one with no value and some smaller ones. Well, this is a problem. Let's drop back down, get rid of everything else. Step 2, we're going to export some data. So here's the first page. This list that had been 86 or 8,700 prospects is now down to the 26 or 27 that are Amanda's problems. I've got the stats on them. Now let's export this out. Right-click, export. I'm going to put it to my desktop. And now I've got the data out of Advisor into a spreadsheet. I can do whatever I want with it at this point. And I've done full cycle, cut a list of 8,700 down to a small list, which I can now work on offline. Now this capability, often maybe it's you're targeting a mailing and you have 5 million prospects in the data pool. You've done this kind of visual discovery. You've got the list down to the 30,000 you want. You might just export an ID number, a name, maybe some contact information out to an Oracle database and then pump that into a mail engine and execute a campaign. But Advisors is a great tool for that kind of discovery and analysis. So now I want to share my results with others. I can go third step. I can save it as a project, go File, Save Project As. There's 2 ways to save a file in Advisor. As an ADVM, which will embed this with the snapshot of the data, and anybody who opens it will have the full data set snapshotted. Or as an ADV format has no data. It has source links, so when you open the project, it goes to the source data and reloads fresh. And often we'll set up scripts or trigger events that will kick off an ADV in the middle of the night and then publish out to an ADVM, so it's all staged and ready to go in the morning. More on that in another video. The last thing is the flight recorder. So I've done my analysis, and actually let's bring everything back. I'm back to the beginning, so I wonder, what did I do? I hit my flight record. I'm going to pin this out. So this is the set of things I did, and I'm going to label this. I'm going to click the first one and put a little note on top. What I did was delayed, stage 1 deals, and then I drilled down on Amanda Carrington. So here's the record of what I did. It's a set of steps. It tells me I replaced selected in the scatter plot and what I did. I can click on this and it'll show me a thumbnail of what I looked like when I made the selection. It'll tell me how many I selected. I think I then selected in a maybe a bar chart down here. I selected just Amanda. So this is the the whole set of things that I've done all the way through. I can edit this, delete steps. I can replay this. So at this point, I might want to go back and redo this to get back to the same point. And as I said at the beginning, this can be shared with other users. So in summary, 4 ways to share with Advisor. You can share the graphics either as pages or charts easily into PowerPoint, Word, PDF, or HTML. You can export data from the database out to Excel or another system. 3, you can save a project file and share that with other users. And 4, the flight record is a detailed accounting of what you've done, which can be replayed by yourself or others. Thank you very much for your time.